Alright, what's up y'all, it's LakerFan here. As you can title today's video, we have the top 3 lockdown builds in NBA 2K26 in Season 2. So, with Season 2 came the fading patch. I think that has enabled small lockdowns quite a bit more than it did pre-patch. I think that switchability was extremely important when it was the fading off of screens and stuff like that. I think that what you're going to see in today's video of a 6'4" lockdown build that comes out here with 99 3-pointer could be kind of fun and kind of different. Now, I want to say that a lot of this video is going to be employing 3 different play styles. It's going to be the do-it-all type build that wants to come out here and dunk, shoot, pass, and defend. Then we have a pure defensive build that's actually withstood the test of time over the months that we've played the game so far by this point, and it's the 6'9", 99 block pure lock build that's meant to be played either as the on-ball lockdown or to guard the other team's center. So then we have a really off-the-wall, kind of a flash-in-the-pan idea that I don't have any proof behind, although I actually do. I was playing with my boy Woff, and I'm going to show his intro to the video real quick if you want to check his out, showcasing a 6'4", 99 steel build. Mine's going to be a tad bit different in terms of some optimization stuff that I just wanted to go for and make it a little bit different, but I've seen it in action, and he was hounding people off the screens, like just really being fast and agile and stuff like that. So if you want to check his video out, feel free to. I just wanted to tell you guys that I've seen this in action. And also, by the way, what you're kind of going to see in part of the video right here of the do-it-all lock was inspired by someone in my Rate My Build video right here of the glitchy cap breakers. And it was glitchy, let me tell you that much. So I want to show it to you. We're going to get to that. I'm actually going to get to this build first, then I'll get to the 99 steel one. Then I'll recap that 6'9", 99 block build for anybody who hasn't seen it yet in previous videos. Alright, so let's start this off with the 6'8" do-it-all build. So if you enjoy the video, feel free to drop a like, sub if you're new, turn on noties, all that good stuff. And like always, try this one to 1,000 likes. Now, with this build, you might look at this and think, how in the world is this a lockdown, Laker? We got 65 steel, 54 block. You're not even maxing out the speed. The perimeter sitting at 85. What is going on here? Cap breakers is what's going on here. Okay, so for now, just use your imagination. Just tune out the little red category right here, all right? I want to talk about everything else the build has to provide and offer, and also want to detail this discussion as well. So I've been seeing some really ridiculous stuff in this community, and it's been multiple different people playing this, but Swag most specifically on Joe's team playing back-end power forward with a build with minimum strength is crazy. It's getting box outs still, so I'm not sure, fellas. I'm not sure what strength is really about, to be fair, other than a movable enforcer. So you will be missing out on a movable with a strength rating of this, obviously, but everything else in terms of what it is going to enable you to do with your build, and again, we'll detail what the defense looks like in just a second as well, but everything else. 89 driving dunk. We got contacts like, pro off 1, pro off 2, the vertical to go with it. The vert is more for the pogo stick as well, as you can see, Hall of Fame. But the speed and agility, we'll talk about in a second also. I know it sounds like I'm kind of, getting to ramble into a lot of stuff that we'll eventually talk about, but I swear, we will in just a second. But 81 standing dunk for silver rise up, as well as the ability to still meter dunk reliably on everything. If you get hit on a cut, I'd like to prefer meter dunking pretty much everything. It's just going to go up more aggressively all the time. And to be able to still do it and depend on being able to make a meter dunk with the standing at 81 is still ideal. Now, as far as the shooting goes, we have 80 3-pointer. It's a reliable, decent rating, as well as 85 mid-range just to get the silver Deadeye as well. We cannot get 83 3-pointer on this. If you wanted to try and revamp it a little bit, you could attempt to, but it is very, very specific with this cap breaker situation on this build. But playmaking wise, it's also elite. I mean, it gets silver lightning launch, the 75 speed with ball, the 85 ball handle as well. Technically, 86, somewhat desirable, but I don't know, just got to be very specific once again with the cap breakers. If you want to try and modify something like this, you can as well, but this is as fine-tuned as I could possibly make this, and also Salt and Dre were helping me kind of configure something like this as well, because we did still take that original mold that I showed you guys on my Rate My Build submission, but definitely revamped quite a bit of it to be more optimized for Pro-Am. And speaking of optimized for Pro-Am, is the ability to grab the defensive rebounds with Gold Rebound Chaser 92 D-board, probably plus to that as well to legend, and then be able to also, as you can see, take that pass accuracy and get that break starter on gold, as well as just have a decent rating to be able to throw breaks. So the build is switchable entirely. You can guard back end, it can guard on ball, you can do whatever you want it to be. You can even guard corner. We're gonna have Dre play as like our primary rotate guy off the corner with a build like this, and it's still going to be swinging, really able to grab those boards out the corner. And again, if it does rotate down off of like a big man slipping, you then can still guard the big, ideally. Now, it sure doesn't look like it right now, but let's go ahead and just load up the build. I'll get into the cap breaker screen. I'll just go ahead and do it straight, straight like this. You can see that this is the exact same build. So anyway, obviously, little bit of a long screen. We all know this good old spot right here. Okay, I don't need yes men right now. I need you to be honest. Anyway, getting into this, as you can see, the cap breakers go insane on the steel and block, as you could probably assume. So with this 5 steel and 5 block cap breakers, you're going to go from 65 steel to 85 for the gold interceptor, 54 block all the way up to 84 with 5 cap breakers as well. So that's going to be silver paint patroller, and then obviously, you know, the high flying denier on decent levels as well, and it's silver for that matter. And then once again, 85 steel for that gold interceptor. The perimeter defense could even still also be cap breakered to the 92 rating. I would stay away from that a little bit though, but to be fair, there's not a whole lot else that you even need to cap break other than that. Now, in my opinion, what I would prefer over the Perimdi first would probably be something like speed getting buffed up. And also, one cool thing about the way of creating a build like this is if you were someone that, let's say, went for the easy, you know, shooting specialization compared to everything else, and you have your specialization cap breakers, you have your max +1s, +2s, stuff like that, you can still use the shooting +1, +2s and use the shooting cap breakers on speed or agility. So you could buff up the agility to +2 right here, or you could go 85 speed with those 2 specialization cap breakers, and then use your things like maybe the 10 cap breakers that are next remaining on block and steel. Now, obviously the build is a bit dependent on cap breakers. If you're someone that has 8, ideally, like, you know, it'd work out best if you had defensive specialization, because then you could turn your 8 into 10 and be able to actually get steel and block out the gate. But this is going to be a bit dependent on having a lot of the cap breaker stuff set up. So with all that in mind though, if you were able to pull off even simply just getting the steel and block and nothing else really needs to be touched other than that, once again, the build is going to have the ability to put the ball on the floor, truly dribble, truly pass the ball off, you know, breaks and outlets and stuff like that as well, still be an elite shooter, or at least an optimal shooter, I would consider, as well as having the badges and the jump shots to go with it with the 85 rating, and then be an actual optimal dunker as well with the, you know, pro contacts off 1, off 2, still the silver posterizer and stuff like that as well, and a really good meter dunk capable dunk rating. Still get, like, you know, the bronze badge level of the physical finisher on the 70 driving layup, and also that's actually what 60 strength was for in specific, is to get physical finisher. So I mean, it's just like a very ever so slight upgrade to the, you know, bare minimum of what the strength would be. Offensive rebound would be cool to have, but honestly I do think that this is going to be a build that's just spotting up more often than not. But truly, like I said, a good cutter, and the image that we have in mind for this when it comes to the Pro-Am runs with Salt and Dre both being on a build that's like this is to be catch, run, dunk capable. So originally, what I would want my corner spot-ups to do would be to be, you know, an actually optimal offensive option. So I wanted them to be able to catch the ball, and if they weren't open, be able to still fade to the wing or something like that, or have a little bit in their bag offensively. This could still catch, run, fade into the mid-range, also could catch and shoot, also can get called on a cut, or catch, run, dunk. So if someone's closing out to you too hard, you can simply get by them really, really good and just be able to get into that dunk range. And again, the ability to hit the teammates on the passes and stuff like that as well would just be truly optimal. So everything about this build, and I gotta shout out Ace once again on that submission video, because what really makes this work is to be able to cap break this glitchy amount of steel and block on the build. And we were able to just kind of tweak it and fine tune it into being more of a do-it-all kind of build with the high pass act and the dunk and stuff like that, and truly to have everything that you'd want as a lockdown role player. So anyway, that's that build. I really think it's a banger. We're gonna have some gameplay of that pretty soon, so I hope you guys can stay tuned for that. I'll hope to have the gameplay out probably within 4 days or so. I would like to, you know, we obviously have to get runs first of all, so definitely looking into that. But anyway, moving along, the 6'4", very off meta right here. It's not exactly what people would think of in the image of a lockdown, but I wanted to show something like this for the people out there that wanted to be a fight through lock, really small, able to still fight through screens and be like truly a pure lock that is also at the same time a pure sharp. So as you can see, what I'm doing is going with a little bit more of a different outlook on this of cap breaking extremely expensive ratings. So for instance, we have the 3-pointer going all the way from 94 to 99. That will get you every shooting badge that we have listed right here, all 4 of them, on Legend. So it's going to be Limitless, Shifty, Set Shot, Deadeye, 99 3-pointer in general. Still keeping the Levine dribble style and the, you know, lightning launch on Silver. It's going to be affiliated with your speed, so I ended up going 91 just so that it didn't force the speed of the ball up too hard, because it's going to still be somewhat expensive upgrading something like that. And as you can see, the maximum speed that the build has is 96. So plus 5ing the speed, plus 5ing the Primdi, and plus 5ing the 3-pointer. Now, what could you live without? I would absolutely say the speed. This build could still be very decent with 91 speed. The agility, though, as you can see, 93. The strength, high enough for the immovable enforcer on legend, off rip. And remind you, this build is going to come out here and be able to get 99 Perimdi, which is going to give you every badge that we have here on legend, whether that's pick dodger, on-ball menace, challenger, paired with the agility that we have, 93. And then off-ball pest as well, obviously. I mean, you know, it's just going to be Perimdi based. So what do you have left to even +1 at that point? You can have a 99 3-pointer, which, as we already mentioned, gives you every shooting badge on legend. So specializing in shooting doesn't exactly work out. And then you're going to have every, you know, perimeter defensive badge on legend because you have the 99 Perim paired with the speed and agility to go with for every, you know, necessity that is that. So what do you even do at that point? I would probably say +2 interceptor to legend as well, and then glove could just get a random buff up, because technically speaking, glove is going to be the only thing that's even left. You obviously have immovable enforcer on legend also, as we already have said with the strength. So this is a lot of legend badges out here. So that's 5 right there between challenger, on-ball menace, pick dodger, immovable, off-ball pest. We got 4 more with the deadeye, limitless, set shot, shifty. Those are all things that aren't even being +1 or +2'd to get to legend. Then you can +2 the interceptor, get that to legend as well. That's 10 legend badges. That is ridiculous. So all of these things considered, what else does the build still bring to the table? Well, again, it still has the Levine dribble style. It's still going to have pro sigs. It's meant to be a pure lock, more of a two-way sharp though, if you get what I'm saying. This build could operate on the hash, obviously, or if you want to be a wicked shooter in the corner, you could still do something like that as well, because this is still going to be a lockdown. I mean, it's still going to have 99 per rim. Again, the steal, acceptable. I will say though, where it doesn't really optimize the best is the fact that it doesn't get something like high flying denier, because being 6'4" or even 6'5" that has a wingspan low enough to get the 99.3 is not going to be able to do so. So it's going to be something that you have to take a little bit of a hit on, not to mention its interiority. It's respectable. I still think 70 is doable. And then also you might wonder, why did we not go 60 D board instead of the O board? As you can see, well, it takes me going down 13 on the O board to even get 1 defensive rebound. So this is the cheaper way to get the rebound chaser on bronze. And I guess sort of kinda the cheaper way to get box out beast on bronze. I guess you could just get the 55 D board if you really wanted to, but I still think to get the cheap level of, you know, rebound chaser doesn't hurt anything personally. So anyway, the end goal for this build is to have 96 speed, 93 agility, and 92 strength, while still having the vertical that we'll eventually show as we load this up. And this is the one I'm just gonna skip. You can take my word for it. That's the exact same build. So just a reminder, I think you should specialize in defense if it were coming to making a build like this, or if you wanted to make this build in specific, but you have shooting specialization and you are just locked in on 100%, not gonna redo any of that BS, definitely not going for the defensive specialization. What you could do is knock down the 3-pointer like 1 or 2 on this and just simply run +1, +2s or something on the build, find a different, you know, category of things to upgrade. So, and then just settle at a 98 maximum 3 or a 97 max 3 or something like that. So you can get some use out of your +1, +2s, etc., etc. So anyway, once again, as far as the cap breakers go on this, I think it's 100% into the 3-pointer. And then again, if you are specializing in defense, I think it's a no-brainer to still go with that 99 per rim and then have 2 99s in those aspects. And then past that, I think what should come before the speed being +5 would be 2 dunk. So you'd get your dunk up to 87, and once again, we're then talking the ability to be a somewhat viable cutter. Now granted, being 6'4" means you have no standing dunk and like no standing dunk packages, so I would stay away from that and just understand that you're going to be more of like a cutter that needs to get hit in stride somewhat when it comes to the meter dunking. But obviously it lacks a good bit of driving lace, so it's a little bit of a false capability cutter, if you know what I'm saying. It's all dunk. It's got to be dunks 100% for you to feel confident about it. But anyway, point being, 87 driving dunk paired with 75 vert. That's pro contacts, you know, off 2. And then honestly, if you wanted to, you could also lock in on getting small guard contacts if you really wanted to tweak the build a little bit. I actually don't even recall what those are. I'm gonna go ahead and load that up real quick just so y'all can see. So as far as these small contacts, 86. Okay, so we even do get a small contact off 2 as well with 86.75. And then the other requirement would be 93.80. I probably wouldn't go for something like that. So pretty much what you're going to get is 2 contact dunk packages, pro off 2 and then small off 2 as well. So anyway, for the short-term people that are like looking to make a build like this but don't have a ton of cap breakers, I would absolutely put 5 on three-pointer. That's just going to be by far the best value to get 99.3 off the caps. And then I would probably say the next most important would be to go +2 dunk even before the Prim D. And then you could buff up your Prim D from 94 to 99. I think that you could definitely settle in at being a decent defender even still with 94 per rim and all the badges that come with this naturally. Maybe even 96, something like that. But anyway, the point is that the end goal of the cap breakers here is to spend 5 on per rim, 5 on three-pointer, and then 5 on speed, then 2 on dunk for a total of 17 right there. Now, anything that you find value in past that, whether you wanted to go like super end game with it and talk like speed with ball handle potentially, you could even possibly talk about pass accuracy, but I'm not sure I'd really care for that too much. Or maybe even interiority going up from 79 or 70 to 79 could be decent. But anyway, yeah, just this is going to be more in the image of like 15 to 17 cap breakers. And in the short term, you could cut out one of those 3 things, whether it's three-pointer, speed, or perimity, and I'd probably lean towards speed as well. So anyway, yeah, definitely just had a little bit of an idea right there that was inspired by WAF. So I wanted to bring that to y'all, but it's a little bit more of a gimmick. A little bit, you know, it's not necessarily the most crazy optimal thing you've ever seen. It's more of an idea build more than anything. And I don't know, we'll see. Maybe we can get a little bit of a kind of review on a build like that if someone wants to make it and we get runs with them, or any of my boys in specific want to go with that, or if I just end up running with any of you guys and, you know, subscriber streams or something like that, and we just run with y'all in the rec and someone has a build like that. So anyway, 2 very unique different builds that we've just come up with recently in a lot of the reference to learning how to play the game and like what is going to be most necessary to have on the court. This right here though, of the 6'9", 99 block lock, this was truly a week 1 experience right here. My boy Kitchen came up with a build like this as far as being like a lockdown that could guard the stretch bigs. And to be fair, you still do need to guard 7'4s out there. I mean, they're not extinct entirely. However, it's not quite as much of a threat that demands the 99 block. What this build is good for is truly to be versatile on defense and be able to guard the bigs as elite as anybody can, to still be in the passing lanes. Think of this more as a power forward build out of necessity, but if you had 2 of them, it'd be perfect to come out here with an on ball with one of them and then a back end as the other and just be full on switchable. You'd come out here with 2 builds that have the 92 per rim, 84 agility as well. And then I believe this is Caruso requirements, but there are a couple better motion styles out there that are on 2K Labs if you want to check them out right now. Code Laker at checkout for 20% off if you're interested. But anyway, the point is that, like, you know, this is still get a lot of good motion styles and a lot of the good ones, to be real with y'all, as a little bit of a spoiler for like the, you know, 2K Lab info, are low-key lower requirements. It's not actually stuff like Caruso and, you know, Asar and Amen Thompson and stuff like that, or Kawhi. There's a lot of like low requirement ones anyway, so it's not even so much a necessity. But 72 strength, again, it's a low strength lock. If you wanted the high strength, we already showed that 6'4", but I understand it's not as switchable or anything like that. But truly, I've seen this in action, fellas. Like, whether it's Salt, you know, and Tyson or Kitchen, anybody that's been playing on the 6'9", 99 block right here with the 72 strength, they really are doing a good job on box outs, and I don't see this like get shredded on the boxes too bad. And also, as you can see, it gets the 85 D-board that does get the gold box out beast. I mean, it's about what I'd expect out of a build that has 85 defensive rebound, and if you didn't tell me its strength, I'd have no idea. So I'm assuming that's what it's going to look like as well for the other 6'8 that we showed. But anyway, what this build is going to eventually do is cap break 1 ball handle, 1 speed with ball. It gets up to 70 ball handle and 75 speed with ball. I would ideally like to have 71 just for bronze handles for days, but I don't think that matters too much on a build like this. You're just going to want it for the pro sigs, get the pro step back, be able to do like, you know, a really easy ability to just get step back 3-pointers. And then also the cap breaker on this is going to be able to get up to an 87 driving dunk, which, you know, paired with a good vertical that we already easily have, is going to get the pro contacts off too, as we've already mentioned. And then 78 3-pointer, respectable shot rating. I mean, obviously, you know, silver set shot specialist. It's what I'd be running on even a point guard in this game, for that matter. And what I did with the build was actually I revamped only one thing. And what it was is, as you can see, it had 85 agility and 57 free throw. I figured we could just take 1 agility off, put it on the free throw, make it an absolutely respectable rating that we've been able to easily hit with. Once again, in reference to what I've used, I've been on 69 free throw, really hitting some free throws like crazy. So, in reference to what the build is lacking, obviously it's like finesse finishing, so anything other than a dunk would be a little bit ugly, with the driving lay and the close shot super low. The pass accuracy is extremely low, doesn't bring a lot of mid-range to the table. This is the epitome of a pure lock. I mean, it's truly a 1 through 5 defender with the interior D at 89, because I know some of y'all might be wondering about this because we haven't even talked about it yet. Interior D at 89 and vertical at 85 paired with 99 block is going to get you legend on every badge as far as the paint patroller and high flying denier. So as you can see, for the legend high flying denier, you need 99 block, 85 vert. And then if I'm going to just change a couple of different ratings right here so you can see the actual like paint patroller requirements, because holy moly, it is expensive, as you can see, to even get it this high. But that's why it's good cap breaker value going from 94 to 99. Anyway, yeah, as you can see, for the requirements for legend paint patroller, it's going to be 99 block, 89 interior D. So that is why we feel like this is a really good spot to be. So let me get to the cap breaker screen real quick on this. We'll go ahead and make the cut. So here we are. Like we said, +5 dunk is going to get you 16, which is good enough for 87. And again, pro contact's off 2. And then the 1 ball handle, boom, that's 70. 1 speed with ball, that's 75. You get the lightning launch on silver, Levine dribble style. And then +5 on the block, getting you to 99. So it's doable pretty quickly, I would like to think. I mean, this is a pretty easy build to hop out here on day 1 with, and like be able to just, if you have a pretty baseline amount of cap breakers of just the +5, or even I'd say more comfortably, you'd want the 5 for the block and then 2 for the ball handle, speed with ball, to like come out here and really be optimal, to just like somewhat have an offensive bag a little bit if the ball hits your hands. And then the long-term play would then be the dunk, if you ask me. I think you want to come out here, just be a pure lock early, and then you can add the cutter ability as you eventually kind of progress into it. It's what we've had Salt do on his 6'9", 99 block as well. So yeah, anything past that is a little bit hard to find great value for. I really don't have a lot of great ideas for you guys. I mean, you could probably try and buff up the pass act, I suppose, by that point, but obviously we don't have a lot of great value when it comes to the layup, the standing dunk. I mean, you could argue this is good value for the layup if you wanted to like put on a prosthetic layup attribute for yourself, but yeah, I probably wouldn't really recommend something like that. But if you were looking for a last-ditch effort, again, probably pass hack or driving lay would be the things that you'd resort to at the very last of a build like this. So anyway, that's all for the video. I hope y'all enjoyed. If you did, feel free to drop a like, sub if you're new, turn on noties, all that good stuff. Like always, try someone to 1,000 likes. And once again, I do just have to say, shout out to everybody that was submitting stuff like this. Ace for this like initial idea. Let me show you guys what the build even looked like. It was a little bit hard to even see though, because it wasn't like perfectly cropped or anything like that. So he still had the same idea of going with like cap breakers on the steel to get it to the 85, the cap breakers on the block to get it to 84. He had a higher defensive rebound, higher O board. It's more of a center build, if you get what I'm saying. But we found a way to buff up the speed and the pass accuracy just a little bit, and then drop the O board, be more of an optimal spot up lockdown, if you know what I'm saying, rather than this is meant to be more of a stage big, play the comp 3v3 scene. So I actually would consider showing a build like that when it comes to if we do the top 3 big men version of this video. It'll probably be like the stage big, to be real with you, because I think that is, or I should say 3v3 big, because every game feels like stage in this game if you're playing it in the red banners and stuff like that, and the Proving Grounds stage as well obviously feels like stage. So point being, I'll probably post it as the comp 3v3 type of build to play at center, and then we'll have a lot of different stuff as far as like rec centers and pro-am centers, etc, etc. So if you want to check that video out, I'll probably have it up within a couple of days of posting this one, and I'll probably get to the point guard one as well. If these are banging and you guys are really liking them, I'll maybe even do the shooting guards and power forwards in specific as well for more of a pro-am vibe rather than just like, you know, park builds and stuff like that. But anyway, that's all. I hope y'all enjoyed. If you did, feel free to drop a like, sub if you're new, turn on noties, all good stuff. Like always, try 1,000 likes. And if you made it to the end of the video and you want to show your support that you did, put lock or put your favorite height of these builds in the comments. 6'4", 6'8", 6'9". Anyway, that's all. Hope you enjoyed. Other than that, take it easy, man. Peace.